Hi travelers, Tara here. Can you believe that we are already at the end of May? I cannot believe it. I'm going to do a quick La Vida Sabila spread. We're going to put down 15 cards and I'm going to read you the story. Let me burn some more Joss paper here to invoke the spirit guides. I love that little cauldron. I do so much in it. Okay. And this is going to be like your straight no chaser. We have, as fast as time is flying by, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, eclipse season starts in July. So, well, it already started in January, so we'll be having our second series of eclipses in July. Mercante, stanza, messaggeri, fortuna, gran cancellazione. Wow, that's a beautiful line. Dispiacere, superbia, letterato, vedovo, l'amante. Wow. L'amante female. Now that was l'amante male. This is l'amante female. Fedeltà. La vecchia signora. Conversazione. And the limoneo. Wow, that's a beautiful story going on here. Now, right in the center, what we have is the letterato. And the letterato is known as the card of discovery. This is also the man of letters or the man of science. In other words, this is somebody who is thinking over something. Someone has made a discovery. Maybe they've been researching something. Maybe they've been plumbing the depths of the way that they feel. And trying to get to the truth. So we're looking at something surrounding a discovery. Now, this top line of Mercante, Stanza, Messaggere, Fortuna, and the Gran Consolazione speaks to me about some kind of idea or project or endeavor, the coming together of two things to make a one. This is already in play. Here on the left side of the spread, what we see is someone, a female, who is quite distraught, perhaps over the terms and conditions or the negotiations, something not going to plan. The top line itself, though, speaks to the idea that there's been a break in communication and surrounding this. I consider the Mercante card to be like the Three of Wands. This is the negotiator, the person who's the mediator, or the person who's making the terms and conditions. Some kind of communication surrounding this. We see that there's been a break, but then suddenly, or not suddenly, but in a way I kind of want to, the atmosphere, the environment changes. And it changes due to some kind of news coming from far away. This is what the messaggere means, okay? Messaggere is news from far away. Now, far away could be, you know, the next town over. It could also be the next state over, or on a worldwide scale. So this could be some kind of foreign news or news coming from overseas about something. In a way, I would kind of say that on the one hand, yes, because it's backed up by the Fortuna card. Fortuna is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. It also represents the Wheel of Fortune in the regular tarot. That is the Jupiter card. That also speaks to Jupiter. Is its ruling house is Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules foreigners, foreign places, foreign people, imports, exports, the World Wide Web in terms of getting your message out to the masses. And then we see the card of the Gran Consolazione, which is about achievement, and success after a long time. We see someone who's dreaming of all of the things that they want. They want money, they want love, they want peace. And so we see that. Now, it kind of reads like the energy kind of is moving backwards, but it starts out like this, that something starts, but then there's a break, then we get news that changes the situation, and suddenly we are in a position to where perhaps we can realize whatever our dreams is, or whatever this Mercante card stands for. Presently, however, and it's kind of a weird story, presently though, we are a bit worried or a bit upset. Now the Superbia card is the card of, it can speak to a success as well, someone who's very proud. It could also speak to someone showing you your true colors. But in this deck, what we speak to is, it speaks to pride, vanity, haughtiness, hubris. And we can see that someone's quite upset over this particular characteristic or personality or character makeup of someone. And then we see someone thinking about it, okay? Thinking about the fact that maybe they've been acting like a butthead and they've upset you, okay? Behind him, however, is the Vedovo. Again, this is kind of weird because all of the energy reads this way. It doesn't read this way. It reads this way, as if a situation is going to be returning in some way, shape, or form, okay? Because the Vedovo speaks to the man who is the lonely man who is chained to his past. So this could be someone who is dealing with whatever kind of past issues. We see that he is mourning the loss of someone or something. I don't know if that's his dog. I don't know if this is a relative, if this is, you know, it's the widower card, all right? And then on the back side of him, we have the L'amante, male, requited love. So in one respect, I feel that, if I'm going to read it this way, we're dealing with somebody who has given attention, but for whatever reason, due to a past relationship, the way that it ended, maybe through the death or the separation of someone, is kind of still stuck in that place. But now they're giving it some thought, okay? They're thinking about it. And perhaps what has occurred is that the person may have been acting in a somewhat maybe selfish manner towards you. Maybe you've been acting in a selfish manner towards them. Right behind this L'amante male, I have L'amante female. This is the shy woman who does not necessarily voice her feelings. And we see this idea of some kind of loyalty or fidelity, at least friendship, companionship here. Now, this Vecchia Signora always reads to me like a family member, okay? But it also speaks to the idea of an older female and someone who can, in a sense, kind of give you advice. We also see la conversazione, pleasant conversations, and then we see the limoneo. So I don't know if this is telling me that in future there's going to be some conversations coming up that you're going to be having with this Vecchia Signora that are going to surround some kind of commitment, even an engagement. This kind of looks like the idea that on the future that there is a partnership coming, okay? Or at least a male figure who may feel as though he's either ready or he feels that this partnership can actually go forward. I do feel that there has been some kind of, not necessarily miscommunication, but maybe a bunch of pride that has stopped this particular communication. But nevertheless, this could be the idea of maybe the person is real flashy or real gaudy or real ostentatious, okay? Friend here, Fidelta. All right, so we're looking at stanza superbia fedeltà. But this card speaks to communication, but as you can see, there's nobody in the room. Now, our focus line right down the center are these three cards. And I sometimes see this card show up when there, like I said, there's a family member involved. And whatever this family member has said or is saying or is advising, I do feel that it has given the person an opportunity to stop and think about something. But we also see the news, some news arriving that causes this person to stop and think, and maybe their job or their next step is to speak to this vecchia signora. The Wheel of Fortune with the Vedovo. Now this tells me two things. The first thing it tells me is that the Wheel of Fortune is just that. Sometimes you are up, sometimes you are down. It is the cycle of life. It is neither punishment nor reward. So perhaps through the turning of the wheel, this person has lost a relationship, or may simply be trying to put a past relationship to rest. The time has come now, okay? But nevertheless, what we see on the backside of this, there will be at some point, as the wheel continues to turn, some kind of pleasant conversations coming up. Again, I do feel that it has to do with some kind of proposal. This could definitely be a marriage. This could be some kind of business business venture. The four corner cards, Mercante, Gran Consolazione, L'Amante Female, Limoneo, are all really, really positive cards. Because what we're dealing with is, we're dealing with some kind of changing energy here. And we go from no conversation to pleasant conversation. The Wheel of Fortune brings about the discovery of perhaps a true friendship or a true relationship, but one that speaks to loyalty and faithfulness, and someone that you can depend on. I do feel for some of you this is about the return of someone, that it didn't quite go off the way that you wanted it to. I don't see anything necessarily negative here. For others of you, there is this element of it could go one way or the other. For some, this may depend upon family connections. Maybe this is about someone trying to cut the cord with their mom, you know, because she's always been like involved. But I do see this idea that once this takes hold, that you will get this opportunity, I think, to meet with this vecchia signora. I think that it's going to go well. I think that she will give her approval, so to speak, about this. I think that she will see that you are, in effect, someone who is maybe good for the person. They're right behind each other. Now, what this tells me, see, their backs are to each other. So in one respect, again, this is the idea that there's no communication between the two of you right now. So I'm not exactly sure if this card is telling me that someone is on their way. I don't see the vecchia, what's the name of the card? The Viaggio. I don't see that card. I don't see the travel card. And so what I'm looking at, I think, is just the energies starting to change or move around a situation. Here, Mercante Superbia Vecchia Signora. And that's a weird line to me. I don't know if this is about some kind of grandiose idea or some kind of associated with this Vecchia Signora. This row of, we see here that all of the hopes and dreams of the person is in a sense kind of laid to rest through the Vecchia Signora. This could be, in one respect, the passing of someone's parent. And maybe that is why you have not heard from the individual. Sometimes through the loss or the death of someone very close to us, it really causes us to reevaluate our values and our systems and decide most decidedly on what it is we want and how we choose to live our life. I do sense with this line here of the Fortuna vedovo la conversazione, that the wheel will turn and this person will in a sense open up to having conversations. I'm not necessarily saying, you know, this is a general reading, so I can't, you know. Now, for others of you, I'm looking at Messaggere Superbia L'amante female. This speaks about some kind of news coming to you that might be quite over the top. Always, to me, Juno, this Superbia Peacock card represents the asteroid of Juno. Juno is the asteroid for real common for marriage and childbirth. But she is really about right relationships and commitment. You know, you can commit to someone for safety and security, but that person can be a real cad, right? Nevertheless, you don't leave that person. You don't separate from that person. Why? Because you like the appearance of it. You like the security. You like the safety. You too have your pride and can be very vain. And this could be, in a sense, what we're dealing with. Because here I have Messaggere vedovo limoneo. So we also see some news of someone putting something to rest or laying something aside before they, I don't know if this is about that relationship. You know, if it were like this, I would say that the news comes that the relationship is over, but that's not what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is like this. The news comes, okay, man, I screwed up, you know, and now I've got to figure out how to get back to this place, because really that's what I most desire and what I most dream of. I don't see any fear here. I don't see any deception here. I don't see any lies and or trickery. It just looks as though I will say this. I think the individual misses you, whether this is same-sex or heterosexual. No doubt you miss the person too. No doubt. And this Superbia card could be speaking about both of you being a bit prideful and being a bit vain, in the sense that maybe you feel that one person should give in to the other. Okay. I will say perhaps in one respect that perhaps this Letterato card, and maybe this card could be about the maturing conversation. Okay. I do think there is really a connection here. I don't see the Cupido card. I don't see the Riunione card. But definitely something is changing around this situation. Now, this may be playing out starting now. We do have that full moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 29th. There's a lot of planetary activity. There are grand trines, there are yods, there are two grand trines, one fire grand trine, one water grand trine, there's a yod, there's a T-square. So there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up. throughout this week, just this week alone. And so this tells me, looking at this card, that the story is about to change. How that ends, I don't know. This is just a general reading. But the possibility of a real connection, a real commitment, a real, the nuptials. I mean, you can't not describe it any other way. Look, this, I just saw this. I think some of you are a bit worried that this situation may not come to fruition. I dare say that it will. Look. But the backs are still to each other. If I were going to see it, I would prefer to see it like that, right? But as it stands, it's like this. The backs are still, so this tells me most definitely that you are not together. There is not, you are not close, and you are not on the same track as of yet. Okay? I don't see the, what's her name? The Il Nemica, de la Nemica. I don't see the Il Nemico. I don't see the Giovani Fanciulla. So this really is speaking about, and I honestly feel this is somebody that you know already. I don't feel necessarily that this is someone that you don't know. And if it is somebody that you don't know, it's still going to be somebody that you have an affinity for. Maybe you've passed them up before because they didn't quite fit the way, or they passed you up because, but look, that's just a strange 3 set of cards to me. And it really just speaks to, I think, the nature of perhaps trying to remain true to, I don't know, your pride, your vanity, your hubris. You know, I don't know. So that's what I have for you. I hope those messages helped. That's an interesting, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So if you think you'd like to book a reading, you can type my website address. It's going to be there at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the video. It's also in the About box section, and it's also in the description box underneath the channel. You can come over and join. There's a 30-day membership for $7. You get access to all kinds of stuff. You know, just come over and, you know, peruse around the website. So that's what I have for you. Until next time, namaste.